All right, everyone. Welcome back, music producers and sound designers. Today we're going to be diving back into Reaktor and we're going to be looking at using sound design to create cinematic risers. So if you're into creating effects with your modular synths, then you're in the right place. I'm going to go over that in just a few minutes. All right, so once again, everyone, hey, I'm Danny Xander, and in this stream, we're going to create a little bit of a design challenge, and I'm going to create a cinematic riser from scratch. We're only going to use Reaktor's built-in modules, and this kind of sound is really perfect for trailers, tension scenes, beat drops, or anything that needs an epic build. So we're going to get right in and jump into patching. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to open up your version of Reaktor. You're going to jump into the build section. There's actually 3 sections here. One is the play, one is the patch, and one is the build. We're going to jump into that build section, and we are going to build out a riser. So I'm going to jump into player and grab the blocks that I need. Kind of like always, we need some blocks to start off with. So I'm going to grab what we need to build it out. So we're going to need a note in. And then I'm going to grab a sawtooth oscillator. So I'm going to go and use some components that we've used before. But I'm going to grab something that's a little more gritty. So we're going to go into the boutique collection here. Or let's see, Kodiak, Modern. So I'm looking for something that's going to give us a saw sound that's pretty consistent. So how about the monitor collection? So we'll use the monitor collection. I'm going to grab an oscillator. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that oscillator. So we have 2. We're going to use oscillator carrier setup for this. I'm going to change the name for this to actually carrier. And I'll explain what that means in a few moments as we go along. And then we'll call this one just a modular synth. We'll just call it oscillator, or let me see what it was called before. Yeah, we'll just call it oscillator. Just use that one. There we go. And I'm going to need a few more components for this build. I'm going to bring in a envelope. In no particular order. I'm just bringing them in. I'll actually organize them as we go. I'm going to bring in a filter as well, just to filter our sound out. And I'm also going to bring in a secondary filter, so 1 for each. And also a secondary amp, 1 for the second oscillator. So then we bring in an amp, and we'll use the same envelope for both of them, just because we want that unified, that complete sound. I'm going to bring in a noise generator. So let's see what kind of noise we can get. So I'm going to put that into our filter. So I'm going to start building now. Now we're going to connect our pitch to our pitch. Then from there, we'll connect in, we'll use frequency modulation from the first oscillator into the second. So it looks something like that. And then from there, I'm going to modulate this oscillator. That looks good there. Okay, let's do the basic connections. Looks like that. There. Then we go out. And I'm going to actually use a mix 4 to connect these two, just so that we have a proper connection. So we'll use a mix 4 at the end so we can connect both of these to our outputs. And that will look like this. So left and right, we'll go to our mixer. And then from there, I'll connect this up to our noise and our VCA, our filter up to our VCA. And then we'll connect our gate to our VCA modulation and our okay, let's test it out. I'm going to plug this in here and there. Okay, let's test out our actual build. Let's just see how it's working. Okay, so let's get sound coming out of the ear. Left and right. I'm going to connect this up to the gate of our note in. And I'm going to move this whole thing. So I'm going to copy this or copy selection. I'm going to go into live and I'm going to rebuild it there. Okay, so once we're there, we then, I'm going to open up a version of Reaktor in here. And I'm going to bring that over. So everything we just built. Not sure if we can do that, but we can definitely. Or, you know what, instead of doing that, even better, I'll save it. As a riser. Oh. Okay, so now we can close that off. We can open it back up as a saved file. There it is. And then I'm going to open it up so we can play with it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to modify this. So it can become a usable sound. So we're getting sound, just need to modify the sound slightly. So we need an envelope on this sound as well. So I'm going to add some modulation depth to both of these. Both of the amps. Just test it that it's working. That's our first amp. second amp. Amp 2. Let's check for depth. Okay. Okay, it's working. So, it is working. Just the sound is very, very fuzzy. Okay, there we go. And let's see if our noise is working. Yes, it is. We have noise on top. That's great. And now I'm just going to reorganize the panel a little bit so that it's a little bit more organized. Okay. Just bringing our filters. That looks okay. Just going to bring our mix underneath. And our other components, they can sit on top. Like that. Okay. So now we want to get that riser sound. So we're going to modulate some parameters. That's a modulation depth to this. And to the second oscillator. Or oscillator. Yep, second oscillator. So now I'm going to turn the modulation depth up on the frequency and on the second one. So it's rising in pitch. So we want to envelope we want to envelope to control that over time. So and there we go. Just by messing with our attack, decay, sustain, and release, we can get our sound to rise. Turn down the release. Little sustain less, a little bit less sustain. So we're getting our riser sound. So maybe we want it to go to a higher frequency, a little higher pitch. Let's decrease that decay. And there we go, we got our actual sound. So all it takes from this point is really tweaking it, tweaking your noise, your envelopes, and your VCAs to really create the sound that you want to create. And in this short tutorial or short session, I've just gone over the basics of how to create that using those two oscillators, using a filter, using an envelope, and connecting and mixing both of those sounds together. Hope you learned something from this session, and feel free to experiment and make this patch pretty much all your own. And don't forget to save your patches when you go through and you build them out. That's all we got for today. You can also take this and really tweak it, fine tune it, make it something that's going to work in your music. That's the key pretty much with all sound design. And pretty much, congrats, you just designed a cinematic riser from scratch in Reaktor. And this technique works great in film scoring, game audio, trailer music, even electronic production. And let me know in the comments what sound effects we should design next. Should it be downshifters? Should it be whooshes? Should it be glitches? You let me know. And if you want to go deeper with sound design and modular synthesis, be sure to check out the masterclass on Reaktor and cinematic sound design. And don't forget to smash that like button if you learned something. Don't forget also subscribe for more short sound design streams. And I'll see you in the next session.